You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of GHS-TV's award-winning talk show, Crosstalk. I'm your host, Rachel Christopherson. Each week in this time slot, we take a look at different issues, personalities, and events that affect you in our community. Helen Keller once said, "The highest result of education is tolerance." Some may say tolerance is one of the most important characteristics a person can have. And now in a time when America's minority population is increasing every year, tolerance is needed more than ever. Today, we will talk with organizations that support and promote minority groups in Memphis. We'll talk about their views on tolerance and how it should be handled. Our first guests are from the organization Muslims in Memphis. Please welcome Vice President Nabil Bayakli and Event Coordinator Hala Mustafa. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
So your organization was founded in 2003. How did it start?
It started as actually a challenge from Mayor Harrington at that time, in which he invited all, basically there was an office of the Mayor's Religious Affairs, UMRA, and he invited us to display our ethnicity and our culture and all that in the city hall, at the Mayor's Hall. And he said whatever organization that really makes a good presentation, they will be awarded with a month of displaying their cultural differences and their religion and all their culture. So we were one of those we did a great job, according to the mayor at that time, and we were awarded the Muslims in Memphis the month of March in order to show our religion and our culture and our different ethnicity that comes from the Muslim world.
Mm-hmm. Well, can you talk about some of the goals of Muslims in Memphis and what you're doing to achieve them?
Yes, the main goal is to really build bridges and to make people understand, those who are in the Mid-South and throughout this region, that really our faith, Islam, is just a continuation of the Abrahamic faith. So this way they will not see the differences, big differences that coming from our religion. We do this through different events, workshops, talks, presentations throughout the Mid-South.
Well, there's obviously a lot of intolerance towards the Muslim community across the globe. Have you ever experienced any discrimination? And if so, can you talk about your experience?
I did, but you want me to go first or you want Hala? I don't know if Hala wants to.
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. You know, basically because I'm always wearing my Islamic tradition clothes, most of the time I am really always welcomed and I always get really positive remarks. However, very, very few times there will be some people who would just display intolerance and they would say some hate towards my religion and my culture. I remember one day I was at Walmart and this was an older man, like about 80s, 90s. He was looking at me like really as if he wants to threaten me and intimidate me and all that. So I approached him and I say, "Hi, my name is Nabil. Can we talk?" And he wouldn't even, he said, "No, I don't want to talk to you." And I said, "Well, it seems like there's something bothering you from me. Can I explain things to you?" "No, I don't want to talk to you. I'm Muslim, you know." And he started using all kind of bad language and all that. And I told him, "You know, I'm just trying to respect your age, and I want you to understand that my faith is not any different than your faith, assuming that you're Christian." He said, "Yeah, I'm Christian. I believe in Jesus, you know." So I told him, "We believe in Jesus too. We all believe in the same way." "No, y'all don't believe this." So we started really, and I don't want to go through the whole argument. And I kept trying to extend my hand to shake his hand, and he would never really bring his hand out. So things like this actually every now and then reminds us that we're living in a society where there are elements of intolerance, and we have to continue doing our job in reaching out and educating the public.
Well, Hala, have you experienced?
I have, and I'll tell you, I can deal with it, but when it happens when my children are with me, that's when it's hard because they get scared and they don't understand. And there's a lot of different situations in a lot of different places, but for the most part, I think more and more people, I do feel them uniting. Throughout a lot of the things we are doing and other people are doing, it's bringing awareness, it's bringing us together, and that's something I'd like to focus on even more. The more we open up our hearts and our minds, the more we'll be able to accept one another and look at each other as human beings.
Well, there are a lot of misconceptions about the Islamic religion and Muslims. What do you want people to know about your religion?
Islam, basically, the meaning of Islam is peace. It comes from, is derived from the word salam, which means peace. And there are a lot of, right after September 11, our faith was hijacked really by minority within our religion. And it seems to me that the media is always concentrating on those minorities that hijack the faith. It's very much like, if you're a Christian, would you like the KKK to represent Christianity? And every time I say this, immediately people get shocked. Oh no, how could you say that? Well, when you tell me that a fringe element that happen to have Islamic names, that they are representing Islam, is just like giving me really the excuse to say that the fringe element within the Christian faith are really representing the whole Christianity. Muslims are on the face of this earth more than 2 billion. And we extend all the way from Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia, also all the way to the United States. So we are really a big, there's a lot of diversity in our religion. And you cannot really paintbrush the faith by one tradition or by one culture. Our religion, again, is really an extension of the Abrahamic faith. And as Muslims, we believe in Jesus. We believe in the second coming of Jesus. We believe in the virgin birth of Jesus. When somebody says to me, you have to love Jesus, I say, we love Jesus. We dress like Jesus. We want to look like Jesus. And we want to act and eat and talk and do things like Jesus. So we want to implement Jesus' actions and all that in our lives, not just say, I love Jesus. A lot of people don't understand that, and they don't see it if they are on the hate-giving side. But we really try to again, ameliorate all these facts so that people will be able to hear us and listen and see that Islam is just an extension of the other faiths.
Well, how does Muslims in Memphis raise awareness for local Muslim issues?
Well, we do a lot, starting from the mosque open house to the art exhibits that we do. We have done a lot of cop stops. Also, just for, we've went around different organizations like the firefighters and whatnot, and just invited multiple people to just come by the mosques, enjoy, have a meal with us, talk with us, ask us what you want to know. Come have a conversation. Come see how we pray. Come see how we dress. It's not that much different, really. We've got our differences, yes, but we're more similar than not. And the Muslim Memphis, the festival at the Agri Center. That's another way to come and check out a lot of local vendors and just see. We've got a lot of different cultural booths. There's a lot going on there. Just come. We have a booth. Come ask the Sheikh. Come and ask him any question you want, and he's there to answer it for you.
Sheikh is a religious street leader, just like a pastor or a minister. So that's what she means by ask the Sheikh.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dr. Bayakli and Hala, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you would like more information about Muslims in Memphis, please visit their website, muslimsinmemphis.org. We have to take a short break, but when we return, we will continue our discussion about tolerance in the Memphis community.
This place, it's extremely unique. You are pushed to do things that you didn't know you could do because someone else saw it in you.
If you're with us for your whole 4 years here at GHS, you get a great foundation of amazing classes.
Try the priest.
The approach we take to whether it's the fall play or the spring musical is that the students are truly the ones that are making the magic happen.
Tell all the people. You put the work in off and on stage. Not only are you on stage acting and playing a part, you're working, you're pricking your fingers, sewing the costumes, you're learning how to make exotic makeup designs, you're learning how to build the set that you're going to be planted on.
And as you grow with us within the program, your skills continue to develop and we build off your previous knowledge. And hopefully by the time you graduate, you're a well-rounded professional in a way, and you can move into any area that you'd like after high school and succeed.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. Our next guests have been advocating for Latinos and their rights for more than 20 years. Here to talk about how they've been able to accomplish this goal are Cecilia Ortega, a social worker, and Jeremy Serrano, Executive Assistant Office Manager for Latino Memphis. Jeremy and Cecilia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So why was it important for Latino Memphis to become an independent organization?
So Latino Memphis started in the early 2000s out of the need of the community. It was started by a group called MIFA, and they're actually still active. And they just saw that the Latino population in Memphis was growing and they needed to do something to help them. Our executive director took over about 10 years ago, and he made it what it is today, which we have 4 core programs, and our changes are always changing in the community. So Latino Memphis just strives to change with the population and grow with them as well and try to serve whatever need that they may have.
Well, you mentioned your 4 core programs. Can you talk about those?
Yeah, so we have 4 core programs. It's just a small portion of what Latino Memphis does. So we have a legal program, so we have 5 attorneys and a legal assistant. So we have 4 in Memphis and 1 in Nashville, and they work with our undocumented immigrant population, and they help them from getting visas to their green card to things of that nature. We also have our main office, which is called El Centro, which is basically a referral resource hub where anyone who walks through the door may have a question from enrolling their children into school to signing up for SNAP benefits and any other question that they may have. The girls in the front are able to assist them with any question and resource. And if we don't offer it in-house, we outsource resources that other people in the community are offering. We also have an advocacy, it's not really a program, but it's kind of like what we aim to do. We advocate for the community. And the 4th one, I forgot what it is.
Abriendo Puertas.
Abriendo Puertas, sorry, is our education program. And we have 2 employees who are currently in 5 Shelby County schools. And they work with high school students that are juniors and seniors, and they help them with looking into college because they might be undocumented and not know that they have resources and ways to get into school, and just further educate them on things that they can do after they graduate high school.
Well, can you talk about your experience as a Latino in Memphis and what led you to the organization?
Sure. So mine is a very personal experience. I've lived in Tennessee since I was 6 years old. I moved to Memphis maybe a year and a half, and they were looking for a social worker, and it was perfect because I actually grew up undocumented, and I have what is called deferred action for childhood arrivals, which I'm sure a lot of people have seen that in the news. So being able to work at an organization that's fighting for me, and for me to be able to fight for others just like me in the community is just very inspiring, and it's exactly the work that I needed to do.
For me, it's important because I was brought to Memphis about a year ago. Unlike Cecilia and many others in the community, I'm not undocumented, and I was born in Puerto Rico. And as many of us know, Puerto Rico is a part of the United States. So I don't experience or didn't experience many of the things that the undocumented people go through. But as a Latinx person, I do experience things in the community, and we're all basically put into this one box that I try to get us out of, because we're a variety of people. We are a variety of different skin tones, and we're all across the field. So I like to educate the community on those kind of things, that we're not just one box to check off. I came to Latino Memphis as a person who wasn't really involved in this kind of work. I was actually into fashion design, and then I got into this work and I saw the need in the community, especially now. There's a big movement going on, and I think it's a really great gift to be able to be part of it and help continue the fight to educate people and inform them that we all are more than just that box, and we're not just coming from one country.
Well, what does Memphis do right for the Latino community? And on the opposite side, what can they improve on?
I think what they do right is when there's marches or protests or anything like that, they show up and they make sure that they're seen. Of course, like in any other city, there's going to be difficulties and people who are not open-minded, but we always have people calling us that they want to volunteer and want to know how they can donate or how they can help to our community, because the Latinos in Memphis, they're our neighbors, you know, they're in our schools, so everyone sees how they're struggling or what they need help on. So people are always just showing up and calling to volunteer and seeing what more they can do, especially with everything going on in the news, or if there are raids happening in Memphis, there are always people willing to go door to door and tell people about their rights.
Jeremy?
What I've realized, we have a lot of partners that we work with in Latino Memphis. There's organizations from anything you can think of, and we work with all communities, and I realized that when in times of need, like Cecilia mentioned, that everyone really pulls through and can help out with whatever they can, whether it's donating food for mothers that their husbands may have been detained, helping out financially, bringing their kids to school. And also we've seen a big movement with Shelby County Schools where they are seeing the increase in Latinx students coming into the Memphis community, and they are really trying to aim to do things to help out these students, whether it's helping them with them not being able to speak English or read or write. They are really trying to help them with whatever they need. One thing that we've noticed is the Newcomer International Center. It's a new system that they put in place to welcome these international students when they are not really feeling welcome in the schools. They can go here and learn more, and they are just really benefiting from this thing that Shelby County Schools is really helping with.
Well, what's your favorite part about working at a Latino organization? Cecilia?
I would say my favorite part, like I said before, is being able to help. I specifically work with minors, so being able to help young people who maybe have gone through the same situations that I have, and I didn't always have that role model or that person to help me guide through college or just through racism in the South or whatever it may be. I didn't always have that role model growing up, so being able to help those people and give them a little light at the end of the tunnel and say, you know, it gets better, and there are people out there just like you who can succeed and break the cycle of poverty or being uneducated or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy?
I really see the benefit of working in Latino Memphis and an organization that works closely with the Latino community, just for that we are able to help them succeed in life. And a lot of times we don't see the need out in the public because they're not out there with signs saying, help me, but they come to us and we are there with open arms with whatever they might need. And another thing that we help out in is the immigrant population, not solely the Latino community, because we see the need that there's immigrants from all nations and countries, and we are there to help whoever comes into our door. So I think that's a really great thing that we offer.
Well, Jeremy and Cecilia, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
If you would like to get more information about Latino Memphis, visit their website at latinomemphis.org. We have to take another break, but when we return, we will wrap up our discussion on tolerance.
Music isn't just notes and rhythm, it's about feelings and emotions.
I believe students should participate in a music program no matter what high school they go to, no matter what aspect of music they might be interested in. I want for my students to gain skills and knowledge about music every single day. Music is a wonderful way for students express themselves and express their experiences.
I feel like this music program, it helped me to just settle, just stop and just focus on what I need to do.
Being in band benefits me by helping me become a better musician because I would like to go into music once I go to college.
Ultimately though, truly wish that my students get life skills out of my program. I believe the skills of teamwork, building community, showing up on time, prepared to do a good job, those are things that are invaluable and you cannot get in any other academic program at a school.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. I'm Rachel Christopherson. Our next guests are part of Out Memphis, an organization that has been advocating for the LGBT community for nearly 30 years. Here to talk about the importance of equal rights and confidence through individuality are Jonathan Ely, Chairman of the Board of Directors, and Emerson Kirkpatrick, Youth Services Specialist for Out Memphis. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Well, earlier this month, the LGBT community celebrated or marked the anniversary of Matthew Shepard's 20th anniversary of his death, of his brutal murder. Talk about what the death meant for the community and the political efforts that came out of this.
Well, yes, so with, of course, the tragic murder of Matthew Shepard, I think it definitely gave an opportunity for people to start having the conversation about LGBT rights, and it was a catalyst for change. I am happy that they are finally interring him soon at the National Cathedral after 20 years. It's a really great opportunity for them to finally put him to rest. And I mean, just the things that have happened in the period of time that's happened with marriage equality and with just rights in general.
I think it's a remembrance that, we still have things we need to overcome. We need to be acknowledged that, we're not always safe everywhere, and to make sure that our allies know that too, so that they can speak up for us and always be there for us when we need support.
Well, there have been many cultural changes put into place since his death, like you mentioned, marriage equality and the Hate Crimes Prevention Act. What changes have you seen in Memphis specifically?
Go ahead and answer that, Emerson. What changes have you seen?
That put me on the spot, didn't you? Well, for me personally, I noticed that there's an increase of teachers wanting to know more about LGBT issues amongst teens, as well as counselors and therapists. So I think that's a great impact that we're seeing right now, is that there's adults realizing that they don't have the proper information on how to, deal with certain issues that LGBT teens are facing.
Well, with the current political climate, have there been any fears that all the advances might get pulled back?
Of course. I mean, this current administration has proven time and time again that they are not supportive of LGBTQIA people, and they've actually said it. If there are opportunities to roll back some of the legislation and change the laws, they will take them. So absolutely.
How is Out Memphis securing a safe environment for LGBT community in Memphis?
Just offering a space for them to come to our center and be themselves, if not just discover themselves. We deal with a lot of, I personally deal with a lot of youth who are going through some things. They realize that they don't fit the stereotype of all things straight and heterosexual, all that. So we offer them a space to really figure themselves out without us trying to push our agenda on who they should be.
Well, what programs does Out Memphis offer for LGBTQ youth?
Well, we have PRISM, which is ages 13 to 17. They meet every Saturday from 4 to 6. And then there's Gen Q, and Gen Q is our young adults group that is 18 to 25 every Friday from 7 to 9. We also do other youth programs such as Be Proud, Be Responsible. That's where we go in and speak to schools on LGBT identities as well as the sexual risks that they have higher than others.
Well, has Out Memphis ever experienced any protest or discrimination?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's just kind of par for the course for who we are. There was a couple of years ago where we had an incident where we received threatening messages and things. We are fortunate enough now that a lot of those things are just kind of online trolls, and we haven't actually had any physical problems in our space or anything.
Can you talk about any experiences you've had with discrimination in the community?
Well, I mean, I think it's more so of, you know, a failure to have or want to know more about someone. Of course, when someone finds out that you are a member of the LGBTQ community, their first thing is, oh, well, my pastor says that you're going to hell, or we have all of these issues, and how do you do this? And it's an abomination and all of those things. And it's like, well, it's just a conversation that needs to be had, because we're people just like you, and we do the same things, and it's just, yeah.
Well, although these terms are sometimes used interchangeably, tolerance doesn't necessarily mean acceptance. What would you say to families of LGBTQ youth who are going through this experience?
I think education comes first. You have to educate yourself, and also not expect your child who just came out to be able to educate you. It might be something that's really sensitive for them to be able to talk about, especially with a lot of fear. So really educating yourself and realizing that your support gives them the support they need to go out into the world. If they don't have if you don't have their back, then they're not going to do as well out there.
Well, what events does Out Memphis host for the LGBTQ community in Memphis?
We host a myriad of events. We do have weekly meetings on our website at outmemphis.org. We also have our Outflix Film Festival, which is usually in the fall, and we just celebrated our 21st year of that. It's international films of LGBTQ genres. We also do a big fundraiser called Outbid every year, and we're in the 8th year of doing that. So we have a lot of fun things. We do a lot of advocacy work. We do a lot of social work with getting people together who just want to experience people who are like them.
Well, Jonathan and Emerson, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
To get more information or to find out how to support Out Memphis, visit their website at outmemphis.org. I would like to thank all of my guests for being on our show today. I hope their views on tolerance were beneficial and informational for you. Remember, Crosstalk can be seen each week at 9:30 a.m. and 7 p.m. on Mondays and Thursdays, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 a.m. and 12 p.m. and 7 p.m. on Sundays. For more information on our programming, please check us out on the web at GHS-TV.org, where we are streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Rachel Christopherson. From all of us at GHS-TV, thank you for watching Crosstalk, and I hope to see you again.